welcome back to our channel. This is LanCul and my name is Natsu.
My name is Ari.
And I'm Louise.
Alright then. 今日はね、2人とも日本に住んで何年ですか？
5年ぐらいですね。
5年とか6年とか
6年目になってるよ。
なってるんだって。
そっか。
じゃあ6年
じゃあ6年か
なんですけど、なんか It's been a while じゃないですか。Do you guys know this YouTuber PewDiePie?
My favorite.
Of course.
So
Your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I think
Of
he was
course.
like
He's the G.
number one
Yeah.
Yep.
subscribers
Yep.
at some point,
Yep.
right? In the
First
world.
one to get なんか
He was the first one who got like, yeah. It's like
Diamond plate.
ダイヤモンドなんとかみ
like
たいな。
100 million subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
He lives in Japan.
He lives in Japan.
すごくない？
He moved to Japan.
日本のいいところと悪いところを話してるの。でそれをちょっと今日は見ていきながら、なんか2人の意見とかもね聞けたら面白いなと思って見ていきたいと思います。
Number one reason Japan is bad, and that is cones. There's too many cones in Japan. Once
I
you
don't even
see
think about ice
it,
cream.
you cannot unsee it. They're everywhere. They say, oh, Japan has so many vending machines. There's like 5 per 1 person. No, the opposite. There's more cones than people. Why are there so many cones? I need to know.
確かに。
We got the tall ones. We got the small ones. We got the funny ones. The cute ones.
確かに。
The sexy
Cute cones
ones.
はあるね。
I do like
Sexy
them.
ones.
I just don't understand. Did whoever placed these cones think I'm just gonna barge through? Oh, thank God there's cones here. Otherwise, I had no idea
It's
what
so
I was
true.
gonna...
確かに。
Reason number 2, I like Japan. Yay.
It's so true. ちょっと待って。I never noticed that.
Same.
Me neither. Guys, I grew up here. I never see that. But now that he pointed out.
Yeah, he said as soon as you see it, you can't unsee it.
Announced that we were gonna move to Japan, there was so many people just saying how bad Japan is. Actually, did you know Japan is really bad? Did you know this? One thing in particular that people said was that old people really don't like foreigners. They hate them. So when I was gonna stop by to say hi to our neighbors, who's a little older, at least some of them, I was terrified. I heard all these stories, you know? What are they gonna do to us? So I had my guard up, ready for the worst, and I was met with nothing but kindness and welcoming, and I felt like a total dick for having these preconceived ideas. Thanks to other people. There are definitely, probably, people that don't like foreigners and all that stuff. But anyway, my point being, Japanese people are very nice and friendly. The majority, at least. And yes, even to foreigners. I feel like they are especially nice to foreigners because they think we're like a kid lost at Disneyland or something. I just asked for directions. I didn't need you to walk me for half an hour to the specific place I was going, but thank you. I appreciate it. A lot of times I go bouldering alone, and there's always other groups of people being supportive and yelling like, "Ganbatte!" Like, go, you can do it. I love it. That language. I have lived here for a year, and I'm not fluent in Japanese. I am dumb. I am very dumb. I remember the moment we moved here, I had studied some Japanese, and I was like, let's test out this knowledge that
You
I
had a
have
moment to-
acquired. Let's go. I'm just gonna come in. It's gonna be daijoubu. And you enter a store for the first
Yeah.
time, and they're like, "Fukuro goryou desu ka?" Huh?
True.
What? Oh, what? The classic,
what?
the most common experiences that you have aren't necessarily what you're taught in the textbook. Yay, I know. I think that's the same for anyone learning a language for the first time. But don't even get me started on the kanji, man. What the fuck is this? I feel like Japanese is such a hard language, obviously. But I don't think people realize how hard it is, at least me personally, because the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know shit. For English speakers, Japanese is considered one of the most difficult languages, and because it's just so different.
I can relate that towards the English too. The things that you learn from textbook is not useful at all.
Even 5 years in Japan, you encounter these situations. Not in the konbini, but somewhere else.
Somewhere.
おいくつですか? Kutsu? My shoes? I know 何歳ですか? After 4 years in Japan, I never heard because I didn't learn from textbooks per se.
Yeah, I think that's why.
We have タメ口とか敬語とかだからdifferent way of saying this one thing.
I really realized when I went to language school, you didn't, that's why でしょ? だから、
The more he learned Japanese, the more I realized how he doesn't know Japanese. これはどういうこと？
なんか especially kanji. When you can read a menu in a restaurant versus a letter from the government, for example,
Oh my
to pay your
God.
bill.
これ
It's
日
like,
本人でも難しい。
yeah, how can somebody read that? って感じ。
なるほどね。
At first, when you learn how to say hi, my name is, you're like, wow, I'm so good. Then you unlock next level. Then you're like, oh my god. And then you learn again and you're like, wait, I'm good now. Then you unlock next level. And every time you're like, oh my god, there's so much I don't know. And like you forget that you like.
なるほどね。頑張ってください。もう私はそれしか言えませんが。はい。
The rules. Japan has so many rules. And it's a bit conflicting for me to complain about because a lot of the reasons why Japan works so well is because of the rules. You know, the trains are always on time. Things just work in general. It's hard to explain. The streets are clean. People aren't loud in public, and so on. And sometimes there are rules that just don't make any sense. And I have no problem following rules as long as I understand the reason for it, you know? Don't talk on the phone on the train because it's generally annoying when other people do that to you. But one rule especially, which I talked about before, is the fact that because of COVID, I'm not allowed to be in the delivery room for our baby for more than 2 hours. That's because of COVID rules. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I tell people about this, like family and friends, and they're always like, well, why don't you just ask them? Or like, why don't you talk to them? I'm sure you can, there's gotta be some way. And it's like, no, it's Japan, okay? There are rules and people follow the rules. For better or worse, you know? So the more time I spend here, the more time I encounter these sort of rules that, in my head, at least don't make sense. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm above it or like, oh, I don't get it, so therefore I'm above it. But it's still really frustrating, I think.
I'm like him. If I understand the rules, no problem. I will follow it. If it doesn't bother me, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's good.
100%.
It's cool. It's working. For him, you want to be there when your baby is born.
Yeah.
You've been here for 2 hours. Why can't you stay? Like in France, usually when there's those situations, you can kind of negotiate.
For sure.
You're like,
It's not that like Japanese people
Yeah,
never
yeah,
think
yeah,
why.
yeah.
We just give up because it's a rule. We follow the rules, I think. So yeah, I was just like, you know, growing up here, just following the rules, and it was so natural thing to do because that's what I'm supposed to do. But when I spend some time in America, so why is like that? Can we do this way, that way, which is better? Then I came back to Japan and I started to think like, oh my god, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But then, what if I start doing that and everybody start doing that? I think Japan is not like this right now. Like he said, because of the rules, things works too.
Yeah, for sure.
Word for it, it's more of a feeling than anything, and it's could be happening at any point during the day. Maybe I'm riding a bicycle, it's sunny outside and surrounded by trees, and it's just pleasant in general. A warm wind hits your face, and you just sort of have that moment where it feels just so amazing. It feels like you're living a dream.
One year
year.
in Japan.
あー、ファンシーよだからか。
We both had the same reaction.
なるほどね。
And I still have these moments, but clearly that's a first year.
once you get a routine,
Yeah.
that's when it kind of stops. I have school, I have part-time job, then I go home, I sleep. It's just the same. I actually
Right.
like Tokyo, but first year is more magical. It's like I took picture of everything. Everything was so fun.
Not only Japan, but when you go to new place, new culture, of course, you feel like you're living in a dream. The more you have this real life, the spark kind of fades out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm French. Like it should be Kaigai here. Like I feel like now I'm here. Like this is where I belong.
Yeah,
そうだよね。
だからおかしいと思って。The sparks fade, the love doesn't.
Man, no way. That's true.
ということで今日はピューリーパイさんの、日本についていいところ悪いところを話している動画を見ながら私たちの意見もちょっと交えて話していきました。この動画が少しでも面白かったと思う方はぜひチャンネル登録と、コメントなどもぜひよろしくお願いします。See you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
PewDiePie watches the. Can you please comment? Can you put that in the video somewhere?
Yes.
He really likes you.
PewDiePie.
He really likes you.
Please comment in the video.
ファンじゃん。
Did I told you that I saw him in Jiugo.
Did you?
簡単。あそこでしょ？
You couldn't. I couldn't.
ヴィーガンのところ。